Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Bill, and this is Trying to Stand, where I try new things in pop culture because I've been living under a rock. Doing something a little bit different this week. I've been a little light on my animation content, and I want to say sorry and also thank all the people who are here for the animation stuff and have been waiting while listening to Corpse a little while ago for the first time. Someone mentioned a lyric, Got Me Looking Like No Face, referencing Spirited Away, and then I went, oh man, I haven't seen that in so long. And I just kind of fell down this hole of watching all the Studio Ghibli movies, most of them for the first time, and it was just really nice, and I wanted to do a series on it, but then I found out that Studio Ghibli isn't the kindest to people who do review reaction-y kind of stuff on YouTube. I was scared to do it like I normally do, but I still wanted to give my thoughts and opinions and talk about it with you guys and try something new, see how you guys like my attempt at doing this format of video. So I'm going to be doing a tier list, ranking every Studio Ghibli movie Ghibli. And I have it pulled up here. I guess I could have been more creative with the 5-star or 1-star, because that's not how I'm going to do this. I don't know. I'm not a very bad content person. None of these movies made me like angry. And this is just my opinion. You know what I mean? Like I'm not, because at the end of the day, all of them are, well, 99% of them are drawings that move, sync to sound, and tell a story. It accomplished what it wanted it to. What do I call bestie? All right, so I got it bestie, great, good, okay, and meh. And again, this is just my opinion. I hope you're at least entertained, even if you don't agree with me. Let me know in the comments what you think. I never really realized it, but Studio Ghibli movies are kind of a comfort thing for me. Whenever I'd go home, my siblings and I would sit down and watch at least one. I just started feeling really homesick watching these, and it really kind of helped me feel, I guess we'll just do the order we have here. The Lupin the Third movie is going to be Earwig, the new one, because I did watch that. I was surprised it was in 3D. We'll get to it when we get to it. But yeah, we're going to start with Castle in the Sky. That's the Mark Hamill one. I liked the fun until we got to the Castle in the Sky. Does that make sense? Like, I liked the pirates. I liked the setup with the dirigible and the magic fall safety stone. But as soon as we got to the Castle in the Sky, I'm like, oh, okay. I loved the sad iron giant in the ground, the castle in the ground. I'm gonna say good, because I wasn't mad about it. Also, it's really hard for me to buy that it just always hid behind clouds. That's part of the magic, Bill. That's what makes it fun. Speaking of magic, Spirited Away. I know that this is many people's gateway to Studio Ghibli. It wasn't mine. Mine is next. I really like the movie, and my one thing that makes me hesitate for making it my bestie is honestly something I still like about it, but it just feels so disconnected post No Face. That's what I love about it. I always forget about getting on the train and going to the witch's sisters, and Max Goof is the dragon of the spirit, the river's spirit. It always puts me in like this dreamlike state when I'm watching it, where I'm like, I forgot everything. I've watched this movie like 6 or 7 times now. I always forget about what happens post undoing the no face eating people stuff. But I also love that feeling. Like, I love whenever I watch it, suddenly I feel like it's drifting away from what I thought it was. And it makes it fun. And that's very much, I think, the idea is it's supposed to kind of have that dreamlike, and the visuals are beautiful. But like that whole second half, it always feels like a confusing dream to me. Don't worry, we're getting to things I really love and really don't in a bit. My catalyst for Studio Ghibli, the one that started everything for me. I know, and that's another thing too, is a lot of these I'm watching when I'm about to be 29. So some of these are gonna feel different because I don't have that nostalgia for it. But Kiki's Delivery Service is a bestie. My little sister would watch it all the time on VHS. Like the toxic little boy I was, 7, 8 years old, I would always make fun of her, but I would always watch it towards the end. Like, girl things, and by the end I'm glued to the TV. And it's that fly. always gives me chills. And I love the themes of becoming your own person and that coming of age story, and seeing, you know, the spoiled child get mad at the thing that their grandma made, which screw that kid. But seeing like Kiki go off on her own and try to start her own business, her own idea, like showing like that ingenuity, but then also losing touch with who she is for a while when she loses her powers. Can she talk to the cat at the end? Some people in my life who I've posed this question to several times get mad at me for asking this question, but I think it's valid. But Kiki's Delivery Service and I are besties. That is my nostalgic. I can hear the music from the VHS trailer.
In the original Japanese script, Kiki loses her ability to communicate with Gigi permanently, but the American version adds a line that implies she's once again able to understand him at the end of the film.
I'm going to put it back in a second. You just broke my heart. You just broke. Okay, I'm good. We can be besties again. Thank you for answering my question, though. Damn! Really? Is that the price she has to pay for getting a cold and losing faith in the heart of the cards? That upsets me. I love that we also don't know what her focus is going to be as a witch, which initially bothered me, but then I realized that's not the point. Wasn't to have her figure out if she's going to be doing potions like her mom or fortune telling like that mean girl. Whether she decides to pick whatever her major is in witching, look at already what she's accomplished, and she's, you know, doing it all on her own. This is her magic. Oh, also changing the brooms always gets to me, because it's like at the beginning, like her broom looked just like her mother's, and then she took her mother's broom, but then she had to like find her own. Ooh, thinking about it gives me chills. I love that ending. But moving on, Nausicaa. First off, looking at it is already a treat because it reminds me of like the earlier animations before we started doing whatever magicry we put on pictures to make them move. I guess rustic, I guess is the word I'm thinking of. I love looking at it, but then I also love the story. I love this feeling of she can defeat you in a fight. We saw that she's willing to fight and she does it well, but like then trying to find that peaceful solution and seeing enough of the world to know that there's different countries or factions and they're at war, but end of the day, it's the effect we're having on the planet. And I think if there was a way to sum up a majority of the stance on Studio Ghibli's, like, the work, especially specifically Miyazaki projects, I noticed this a lot, but it was the tone of the effect we're having on each other, but as well as, like, the planet, like peace and nature going hand in hand like that. I love that we have, like, this tranquil, this is how we get by in this super non-hypoallergenic post-apocalyptic Mad Max world. I moved it again. I keep scrolling. I loved the character of Nausicaa. I loved that she lost so much so early on and so much is at stake, but then she's going to, it's that oh god, that Jesus take the wheel moment. Just that image like burns in my mind, and then the fact that they still like fired at her and the fact that she still kept going, just the right amount where I didn't feel like I was getting slapped around with the metaphor. Which, yes, watching people wear masks out in public an aggressive amount or you'll super die got a little jarring watching that in the way the world is now. I got a little itchy. That's fine, it's not the movie's fault. Be safe. Oh god, this one's gonna get me in trouble. This is when people are gonna leave. My Neighbor Totoro. I think it's good. I don't think it's great. It's definitely not my bestie. I love this moment here that's like one of the more iconic moments of standing in the rain at the bus stop. There's something so pleasant about big ol' Totoro chilling there, giving him an umbrella and everything, and it gets very sweet. I can't stop being concerned about the mom. I know that's not the point. I know the point is about adapting to change, embracing change, and being prepared for the curveballs life throws at you, and the solidarity of the sisters, and I love so much of it until a certain point. I think I've just watched a lot of sad stories. I think coming off of a very hard and personal loss in my family recently, after about the midway point, I couldn't stop prepping myself for the mom to pass away. And it stopped being fun. That's a me thing. That's not the movies thing. If I had watched this as a kid, I think that would have been the farthest thing from my mind. I remember the butterfly, not what happened to Bambi's mom. I think if you replace Bambi and Totoro, and I'd be having the same conversation. People would be like, but the bunnies and the skunk is shy and bashful. And I'd be sitting there and I'm like, the mom died. That was a lot. Except it didn't even happen in this. It just made me so nervous. I was starting to shout. I'm like, what about the mom? And then the credits moment happened. There's something about that makes it like I couldn't relax while watching it. It's just how my brain works right now. I couldn't focus on something else. I also love that it starts as a horror movie. I love that it starts with like, here's the old spooky house, here's the Harbinger character warning you about ghosts and spirits and don't disrespect them. And there's something really fun about that I also, on top of being a horror fan, I loved it because it feels like such a scary unknown. And then the more you like listen, learn, see the creature and things aren't as scary, but you're still like unsure, like you're learning with the characters throughout. It starts in such a uneasy place. And like I said, it's about change. It's about adapting to new things. I think if I were to watch it again, the same thing would happen where I'd be like still stressed about the mom. It's just stressful. It's fine. Oh God, I forgot about you. From Up on Poppy Hill. I like the metaphor. Learning from our histories, whether you're about to step into something positive or something negative, I agree with the message of it, at least my takeaway, where it's like we need to learn about our histories and pay attention to what we've done and where we've been so we can improve on where we're going. I agree with that so much. It was so uncomfortable when we got into the we could be related thing, but that's such a historically like relevant. But there was something about the we might not be allowed to date because we're related thing that made me a little uncomfortable. But I also liked the sentiment of even if our relationship can ever be romantic, we're still important to each other. But when it was being used as like a mystery angle story device, I was like, ugh. You might not get the answer that you want, but you need to know your histories. Like, do you have the same father? I think I'm going to keep it at good. I think if someone said they wanted to watch it, I wouldn't be mad, because I did feel a lot better once everything was kind of spelled out and I could take a step back and look at it. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at good. And now we have Howl's Moving Castle. Very pretty. Billy Crystal is a talking fireplace. I don't think I got it, but Billy Crystal's a talking fireplace. My understanding is, I don't know, when we started to get into the intricacies of magic and the curse and then time travel, it got a little messy for me, but I also liked the idea of like, love yourself. We put curses on ourselves as well as the competition between others. By no means are you the sole identity of how others perceive you, but people that matter to you treating you well, by extension themselves, creates a better quality of life. Because I liked that feeling of the kinder he got, like the more homier everything felt. The breakfast scene and everything was just nice and pleasant. The scarecrow turned prince is the ultimate simp. I loved how silly it was, but like I got instantly attached to everybody so fast, except for Howl. Howl was the hardest part, but his castle is dope. And Billy Crystal Fireplace was my favorite. He was sassy and fun. The stair scene went on way too long. I did like the idea of Howl's own behaviors ruined things for others, but also like was kind of destroying himself. I don't understand a lot of it, but the visuals are so stunning. Especially that damn house. I'll put it with Spirited Away on great. Because if I were to watch it again, I'd be excited. But not for Howl. I like the idea of like, he could just become a soldier, but also he has no allegiances anywhere, so the war that continues on, his inactivity leads to responsibility. I'll leave it there. I like everything but Howl, and that includes the writing around Howl. It's just hard. But I also really like our main character. I like feeling you can take more control. Like, I loved that feeling of her just, guess I'm old now, let's go fix this shit. Like, she wasn't messing around, and I really admired the character, and it made it really easy to root for her so fast, and also if she wants to be with Howl, fine, I respect you. I want Howl at his best. It's also based on a book, and there's a lot missing from the book. Let me know in the comments. I really did enjoy it. I just don't like, every time Howl would show up, I'd be like, this schmuck. And I think that's kind of also intentional. So I'm not mad about it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at great. We're not besties. My neighbors, the Yamadas. I liked the jokes. I was a little bummed when it wasn't like so linear all the time, but it was funny. And I liked the art style of it. It felt nice. It was okay. I loved when they accidentally left the daughter at the mall and she finds another lost child and then goes, oh, you need to find your mom, and like takes care of somebody else. And I loved how they're all panicking and freaking out and she's like, oh, this kid's lost while she's a lost kid. I thought that was adorable. I wouldn't be mad about watching it again, you know, but I'm not going to reach for it on my own. But I liked it enough. Ocean waves. You have an important message. I liked the discussion about growing up with regrets of the times that you acted poorly or when you're not ready for something major happening in your life, but here it is. It's time to process it, whether it's happening to you or the person next to you. I don't know. I am also a person who flinches at who I was as a teenager. I appreciate the fact that like not all animated concepts have to be magic and whimsical. It was very grounded. I thought it was meh. I didn't hate it. I also think it's important. I'm gonna move it to okay. But it got so out of control. But it's illustrated as a bad thing. It wasn't, yay, you slapped each other. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at okay. I think it's important. It just makes me uncomfortable, but I think it wanted me to be uncomfortable. Speaking of uncomfortable, only yesterday, I don't know how to feel about you. Learning from your past, you know, coming to terms with elements of your upbringing. I think the dad also really got to me, I'm not gonna lie. This one was just really sad, but I did love how satisfying it was when she was at peace and like took control of her destiny. And like I said, not caring what other people think. Like if coming here to help out makes you so happy, why don't you just stay here? I liked it. Yeah, I wouldn't argue if someone were to want to watch one of these. And then there's Porco. I learned a lot watching Porco, and here's the biggest takeaway for me for Porco is, I brought it up with Nausicaa. War is bad, I agree. Respect each other, I agree. Respect the planet, I agree. There was such an energy to Porco where it felt like someone's trying to tell me an engaging story, but is just getting tired. Like the metaphor leaves at the end of the movie. Stop fighting, save the fucking planet. Like I'm like, yes, I agree. I'm sorry. I can sit here and make jokes about the magic raccoon anatomy. And I also understand that there's an element here of I didn't grow up with these kind of fairy tales, like of raccoons shape-shifting and stuff. So that took a hot minute, especially when there was a more realistic version and then the fun talking Care Bears looking. If I grew up knowing these things about the raccoons and I had less to learn, I think I would have gotten into it easier. Animals in pain makes me sad. We're destroying the planet to make houses so we can destroy the planet more. That ending really wrecked me. I'm gonna put it at meh. No, I'm gonna put it at okay. I wouldn't want to. If someone said, hey, do you want to watch Porco? I would be reluctant, or I would hesitate, rather. The raccoon bags was a lot to then take in while tackling so much heavy imagery and themes. Yeah, and that's why, like, there's no bad. It doesn't make it bad. It's not for me. It's definitely one that I'm hesitating to keep it meh. Because again, I think it's really important. It's heartbreaking, you know, and it's more heartbreaking when whatever elements of this are different to me, the message still stands for me. And it's just that realization of like, oh crap, like it's not, sorry Japan, I want to help. It's like, us too. Can we listen to the animals more, please? This is a much more upsetting, but also much more valid Lorax story. It just also has giant bags attached to the animals. It's fine. I might move it to... No, I'm not going to want to watch that again. I don't know. I'm leaving it down there for now. Maybe I'll revisit it. I know this is going to upset people too. The visuals are really great. I don't like Ponyo. Meh. Yeah, I'm gonna move up Pompoko, because at least I felt something. Ponyo, like, I get it. Like, it's the Little Mermaid. Like, I get it. Like, you can't stifle your kids. Like, finding your independence. But, like, is Sasuke, which I only remember his name because she screamed it so much. But, like, is Sasuke her, like, guardian? Did he adopt her? Is Tina Fey, like, up for taking care of, like, 2 kids with her hectic life? What's going on with Matt Damon always being out at sea? But also, I don't like Ponyo. I love the visuals, though, of, like, her mom in the ocean to be like the spirit of the ocean. Was her dad human and like addicted to like, was it like an addiction for him to drink the magic potions? But I loved when the fish exploded out of the water. I can't take the moment of the licking the blood seriously, because all I thought was great. Now she has a taste for human blood and she's gonna kill us all and eat us. I just didn't like Ponyo. Down to even the song during the credits. Like, I'm like, I need to go home. Like, I'm sorry. Like, the visuals are nice. The pictures move and it's synced with sound. It's fine. But, like, I don't hate it. I'd really rather not. I get that she's new to the world, but, like, it even made me uncomfortable to yell at the mom for not giving soup to the baby. I get she didn't get that. But then, here's our sandwiches. I ate the prime ingredient of protein, which is the ham. So enjoy my salad wrapped in bread. You can't just keep having your main character screaming all the time. I still hear the screams. Like, if you like the movie, I don't judge you. Like, I can't make that clearer enough. I can feel someone getting mad at me right now. Let me know in the comment section. Are you mad at me yet? It's negligent, the amount of adults that saw them on that boat. And no one went, whoa, 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 small children, please stay here with us until we can find a suitable chaperone or Tina Fey. Everyone's like, they must be on an adventure. Like, get out of here. I love a story about a boy in a library talking to books for 80 minutes. And I can't get behind Ponyo. And I can't tell you why. The realities and the fantasies don't blend well for me here. Pompoko, I think I'd rather not. Ponyo, I would just say no. It's gotta be someone's birthday, or I lost a bet or something for me to not push back on this movie. I just don't like it. I'm sorry. She just keeps screaming, and I'm like, I would have gotten like the snot beat out of me by now. You're gonna be a guest in someone's home who takes you in during a storm, and you're gonna just glare at everything. Like, she looks at everything, like as if the couch is gonna attack her, the mom's going to attack her, the flashlight's gonna attack her. Like, it's not fun. Bratty children make me so uncomfortable. I'm sorry to all the Ponyo stands out there. I can see. I can see why. I can see why people would enjoy it though too. And again, I feel like if I grew up with it, I would have a lot more like leeway with it all. My hands are sweaty. Ponyo is just I don't feel anything for Ponyo. I'm sorry. Whew, it's fine. Man, what a very unfortunate order, because now here's the one I feel like I'm gonna treat very well and have to defend relentlessly. My number 1 Studio Ghibli movie so far. Porco Rosso, baby! Porco Rosso. I loved it so much. It is the perfect blending, to me, of fantasy and realism. Like, you're sitting here in this, like, Casablanca era between the wars of the worlds. I loved it. I loved speaking on like toxic masculinity. I loved seeing the themes here being, oh, well, I'm cursed. And it's like, it's not only is it trauma and PTSD, but it's about like mental health and toxic masculinity. And I loved it. I loved the feeling of it. Michael Keaton is amazing. So is Meg. I forget the actress's name and I apologize. Susan Egan, thank you. Both of them have that beautiful noir quality to it. I think it's silly. I think it's great. I love illustrate the misogyny when it's like what are all these ladies doing building a plane? I'm a noir Italian pig man. They're all just like, shut up. Like, anyway, not only like are they qualified, but it's historically accurate. Like, when people, soldiers are going off to war and everything, like the women went to work. Like, it's such an impactful thing, and I love watching someone have that realization in the story in real time. And it was such a important and empowering thing, and I loved it. I loved the character, I loved learning about what happened, and I loved that it wasn't, I slept with a lady who turned out to be a witch, and she witched me, and now I got a pig face, but he did it to himself, and it was when he was ready to receive love, platonic or romantic, I believe it was lifted. And I think there's even a still in the credits where you see him with like a scar on his face. He's wearing similar clothes and the same glasses. I think you see him as a human in the credits. I'm not sure. I'm going to put up a still if I can find it. Let me know in the comments what you think. I don't know. I love the Red Baron-esque. It reminded Red Baron to me is always the Snoopy joke. I love the era that it's set in for like storytelling, because I really liked the idea of, ooh, a fun aesthetic. There was a lot of flaws in that aesthetic, and let's talk about that stuff. You know what I mean? It didn't give me that, never you mind all the war stuff. We're gonna do it in a golden era of time. Isn't this great? It's all speakeasies and jazz and lounge music. Like, they really took the time to address the flaws of the era. And I love when period pieces do that. I thought it was fascinating. I think there's also something personal about it too, where it's like, I wish I could have watched that with my grandpa. I think he would have loved it. I would have loved being able to have watched this movie with him. I think it's really important to talk about not only the external conflicts, but also the internal ones. You know, I found it really interesting that this movie set on the brink of another major war, and it was all internal, personal conflicts. I really admired what it was going for, at least what I took away from it. You know, obviously there's a lot of this where I'm out of my element. I apologize for speaking out of my wheelhouse, but I liked how it was handled for me. I loved that one. That one's definitely one of my favorites. Tied with my queen, Mononoke. You go right there, madam. There is something about that story, you know, respecting the planet. War destroys nature, and we need nature to survive. And it's a repeated theme, sure, dressed up in different ways, but it's never tiresome. It's never boring. I just feel like I'm repeating myself because I'm repeating myself, but it never feels that way in the movies. Every person is flawed, but also every person feels semi-justified, except for the demon slayer dude with the tall shoes. I love how conflicted it makes me feel. I love the characters. I love the world. The problem wasn't even with industry lady versus the forest. It was like, well, this keeps these women employed. This is creating an economy. This is creating a place where more people have jobs and homes and families and are safe and are more empowered. But we're also still making things that destroy the planet. We are still the problem, we the human beings, but it's like, I liked this idea of sometimes the picture is a lot bigger than just us versus the rainforest, you know what I mean? And I loved that feeling. I do agree that, you know, we need to be more mindful and better at our negative impact on the planet. It also showed you the town and the people and the faces on both sides of the problems. There needs to be some sort of cohesiveness to it. I love the characters, and like I said, you have these people who like should not be messed with. Like, I take every person in the story so seriously, and like you feel the gravity of the forest, you feel the gravity of the spirit lake moment. I love the visuals of it. I love the little derpy spirit little rattle things. I think they're super cute, but it still has like that spookiness to it that I love. Like, everything still had gravity. Like, even when they're rattling around and shaking, like, you still feel like something's going down. And like, to be like, I felt myself being more quiet and respectful when we were there, but then also respecting the people who are trying to survive and keep a job and hoping that there's some sort of solution here. You root for all these characters in like the most bizarre way, except for the dude with the crazy shoes. Dude, slap him or I will. Put the head back. And they do. But I also love seeing the damage of like the moment it goes too far. Like, the visuals are so stunning. I love Princess Mononoke. I don't know what the heck Tales from Earthsea was supposed to be. I thought it had a lot of cool ideas. I felt like we kind of ran around a lot. The creepy Willem Dafoe demon thing was awesome. I was just so confused, and I was trying so hard to keep up. I know this is based on a book, but I feel like this should have been split up into multiple parts. I felt like I was missing a lot of the world and the story. The sword looked like boobs, and I felt like an idiot for giggling, but I did, and I will admit it. I'm not above admitting that. Meh. You know, I wasn't angry, and just by the end of it, I was like, cool. Many people, including yourselves, have done that story a lot better, or a variation of it. You know, The Cat Returns. Why am I doing The Cat Returns first? We're going to do Whisper of the Heart. I'm moving out of order. Whisper of the Heart. Great. I thought it was super enjoyable. Take Me Home, Country Road. I loved the exploration of art. The reality of it. You're not just going to wake up and be a prodigy. Like, everything takes work, whether it's going to class or being a writer or, you know, being a craftsman. Like, everything requires work and repetition, and I loved that feeling of, like, keep polishing the stone. I loved the inspiration from the cat, who will return in a second. The Take Me Home Country Road. I thought I was going crazy the first time it played. I'm like, is that what that is? Am I just hearing that because of the chords? And then they started singing it. I'm like, oh, dope, I'm in. There was something about, like, hearing her, like, different lyrics with it and everything, and taking on a different meaning about leaving or about change or about commercialism. I loved that. Like, it was her discovering art by taking a different meaning from a song. I don't know. I liked the play on the meet cute moment, and it wasn't, oh, now we fall in love because we checked out the same books. It was an admiration of each other's passions and, you know, the reality of making sacrifices and hard decisions, and the parents cutting her some slack. Her age didn't really deter the concept of, like, sometimes you just need to get something done. She wanted to write a story, and she did. You know, and then it's about, well, what do you do next? Like, do you just hang your hat on, I wrote it down, I did it? Do you keep polishing the rock and working with it? Like, I loved it. Like, I loved that feeling of, you know, not every path is going to be so linear as shut up and go to school for 12 years of public learning, at least here. You know, like, some people's lives are going to be different, take them on different paths. And I liked the idea of seeing someone take, like, PTO as a teenager. And I think that's super important. You know, whether it's about art or about mental health or just understanding yourself. There was something about it that I really enjoyed. And the only thing I enjoyed more than that, The Cat Returns. Bestie. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why. This is, like, the order they're in up here isn't in particular. I was doing these for dramatic effect. I think there's something so fascinating about The Cat Returns being a spin-off of Whisper of the Heart. But I thought the voice acting was great. It had a lot of great jokes. It knew that it was being more fantasy than realism early on, and it started to really prep you for it. There was something about it that was so ridiculous but fun and engaging. I was convinced the ending was going to be this was the story that she ended up writing from Whisper of the Heart. I thought it was fun. I thought it was exciting. I thought it was just the right amount. The big cat died, but he's okay, right? I'm remembering that right. I didn't insert that fanfic into my brain. It never took itself too seriously, but I never stopped taking it seriously. Oh, and then that twist. I had to take a second when that reality dropped. Secret Life of Ariete. I liked it. You know, I know it's The Borrowers. I felt like it did a really good job. It's fun to watch the visuals of it. I liked the character. Bummer for the boy, though. Like, I like to believe he's gonna be okay, but that made me really sad. A waste of Will Arnett, though. Dude mostly just grunted. I really liked it. Yeah, I'll stick it on great. It's just fun. Like, I know that there's a live action version because I've seen the trailer for it, but why would you when you could do the animated version? Like, you really get to feel the size of everything and the details of their house and the outside world. I really enjoyed it. Oh boy. Now we got the sad ones. The Wind Rises. Definitely an itchy time for me because, That's So Third Bill, I Can Gaze Into the Future. I knew where that was heading. It was so heartbreaking to hear that narrative of somebody who, like, designed something with so much devastation, but, like, feeling the passion of it first. I didn't understand the talking in the dreams thing. Everything with, like, his wife and her illness, and it was really heartbreaking, but I'm also sitting here and I'm like, this is bad news. Like, you're working for some bad things. I think that's the idea, is it's supposed to be drenched in that kind of tragedy where it's like, if only you and Jim Halpert were, you know, making machines of war, this would be a lot more exciting. I thought it was good, but, like, I'm not in a rush to watch it again. I thought it was very pretty. It's like with Porco, where it's like, it's just so sad. But I think it's important. I think that's kind of where my okay range is kind of sitting here, where it's like, something about it, like, really disheveled me. I don't know. Because it also kind of gives me that From Up on Poppy Hill vibe, where it's like, we need to acknowledge our histories, and like there's a lot of stuff I learned from watching it, going to Germany to learn how the Germans were building their aircrafts so they could learn how to build theirs. I think it's important because it's also about like acknowledging the history. Like it wasn't like, oh, his friend with a Western European accent. Like they were very clear about what was going on. Because, you know, it's unsavory history, and that rightfully so makes me uncomfortable. I don't know if like we focus on the devastation enough for me. They do later in a different movie. I'm gonna leave it at okay. I felt like I was still missing like a moment. But like then there was also that feeling of like the tragedies in his personal life being like a karmic kind of punishment. It made me sad, it made me uncomfortable, but like I think that's definitely the point. Like I said, it's important to learn about our histories and everything. I definitely learned a lot. Oh boy, when Marnie was there. We're putting you in the middle. I loved the concept. I loved really started to tackle those like heavier themes. If nothing else, the intention and the spirit of it. No pun intended. I think with mental health being taboo, and then also the finer points of the document that kind of was a catalyst for all of this, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with, well, being more open and communicating more would have made this a lot clearer and better and will be part of the improvement moving forward. And I loved feeling that. I loved the concept and like seeing the house when it's like activated and not activated. I didn't need to know where the ghosts and spirits and stuff came from. It just happened, and I was super okay with that. There's something I really loved about learning from a family member with and connecting in that way. I don't know. I thought it was very lovely. I wouldn't be opposed to watching it if someone asked me to, but I'd be like, time to brace for impact. The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Bestie. I loved the visuals. I loved the story. About halfway through, you think it's one fairy tale of like, these men want to marry me, go find me this impossible to find thing. This person, you know, lost everything financially, tried to fabricate it. This person had a wife and tried to woo me with the sweet poems answer. But then one of them dies, and it becomes a totally different fairy tale as well. I love the art style. It is a rough first, I'd say 10, 15 minutes for me, because I'm trying to like wrap my mind around so much. Why are you growing so fast? Like what's happening? But it's really good at explaining it pretty quick. Like the kids kind of did it. I remember I was sitting there and I'm like, this is going over my head. And one of the kids said, she grows so fast, like bamboo. Nailed it. But I loved it. Like when she ran away from the party and like all the line art and everything got like really rough and like aggressive, and as she's like sprinting away, like it was such a haunting thing. And then at the end, like that, oh, the end was so painful. It was the consensualist hug. And like she cried out. And it's like, no, they're coming for me now. Like, they heard me in pain. Like, that was so, like, jarring. There was just something about it. I don't want to get too aggressive with the metaphor because they were very light with it. But there was something about how it changed everything. And, like, you felt the weight of it. And it was very harrowing. And I loved it. I thought it was very beautiful. It was very sad, but definitely one of my favorites. And then the saddest one of all, Graveyard of the Fireflies. I think it's important. It's so much, but like also it's a situation and a message that calls for so much. Out of respect, I'll put it at great, but by no means did I have a good time. But I think it was also important. I think it talks a lot about, like, there's a lot of parallels between history through this character, the pride involved, and the realities of making sure you're doing what's best for not only you, but also when you take on the responsibility of others. And it was really rough to watch, and that's definitely, it's not supposed to be fun. And like I was saying earlier, like there's something about taking such an important message and doing it through the medium of animation. It really demanded to be felt and seen and heard. It's very tragic. I can't even keep looking at the freaking... It even tells you what's going to happen at the very beginning, and I'm still like, wait, no, what's happening? It's going to haunt me, as parts of history should, you know? But yeah, it's up on the great level out of respect, but I don't think I'm watching that again anytime soon. All right, and Lupin the Third. Now, like I said earlier, this is gonna be Earwig and the Witch, because this tier list doesn't have it yet. So everyone pretend. Here's the bummer. I actually really liked the 3D animation for the most part, especially the backgrounds of it. Like it really nailed like the same kind of essence with the architecture and everything being of similar locations, sure. But it really gave me like, even with like the colors and everything, it just sometimes with like facial expressions, it didn't really translate. But like for a first attempt, it was really good for 3D. I wish there was a lot more to it though. I felt like it was missing an entire third act. But I loved the music, and I loved the whole feel of it. It kind of ended, and I'm like, we gotta hang out a little bit more. I wish I liked Earwig a little more, but she kind of grew on me. It was the music that did it for me the most, and I'm assuming her mom. I wish we knew a little bit more there, but the whole Stevie Nicks witch element of it, I enjoyed it. It felt like it needed time for people to talk. Everything felt kind of very circumstantial, like they just happened upon her at the orphanage. I liked her actions, but then she would sit there and straight up say, I do it so I can manipulate people. And I'm like, oh, now I don't like it. Like it was a very hard character to love, but I loved like someone who's not challenged then being challenged and taking it head on and putting in like more work and attention. And I liked that. I just didn't feel like she changed by the end of it. She just gained more manipulative abilities. But I loved, especially the song, but I loved the music, and I liked the whole Kiki's delivery service and 3D element of it, and exploring more of like the potions magic of things. The worms confused me, but I guess I just never really connected while she's threatening her with worms that she meant hair worms, like what we saw at the very beginning with the evil car. The flashbacks are the most amazing part for me. I'm like, I wish this was about more of that, and the ending just kind of happened. I love seeing how everybody in the house were just kind of in their own little worlds, and they started to grow from like engaging with each other. But then, like I said, then I felt like Earwig just stayed a dick towards the end. I wanted more. That's a good thing, but then I didn't feel like it told a complete story. I felt like I got the first half of a story. I wish we'd gotten more of that. Give me that Ghibli, Stevie Nicks, witchy stuff. Yeah, I thought it was okay. There's a good in here if you give me part 2 of this singular title. But yeah, I'm looking at the list, and I think I'm okay with this list. I feel pretty solid about this. We'll do that, that. Now I am putting them in order. Someone told me I had to watch Tales from the Earthsea or Ponyo. I guess Ponyo, because at least I can make other people laugh at my misery. Yeah, I think that's going to be my list. But I definitely, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts. You know, are there changes you would make to this list? How many times did I upset you? Did I ever say anything you agreed with? I wish I could have done the full-on series I wanted to do where like I watch everything and talk about them like I normally do, but like I said, I was running into some blockers with there, so I wanted to do this as sort of a compromise, and also if I should do this kind of set up for other things in the future. I've thought about doing it for like ranking like Adventure Time or Steven Universe songs, or tracks on an album, or, you know, songs from an artist that I've covered, or even just my own videos. Please let me know, guys. I'd love feedback on this video. Don't be shy. Like it if you did, please. And, you know, whether you did like the video and want more of these, or just to support me and the channel, subscribe if you haven't. Ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss an upload. Don't forget, there are links in the description for education and resources on Black Lives Matter, the Trevor Project, and mental health resources and crisis lines should you or someone you know need them. I had fun doing these, and if you guys want to see more of this on the channel, let me know, and I'd be happy to oblige. But I'll be back next week with more Trying to Stand goodness. I'm also going over my animation list to see what I want to watch next for the format I already have, because I do enjoy doing that too. But yeah, guys, let me know, please, especially because this would come in handy for like things I've already watched but people want me to talk about, like Avatar, Gravity Falls. But yeah, I hope everyone is staying safe. Don't forget to wear a mask if you choose to go out. Be mindful of others, and remember to take care of yourselves, please.